Hello everyone. In this video I will explain you the chapter Nutrition in Plants, which is the part of Science class 7 for CBSE school. So about the nutrition in plants. First of all we need to know about the nutrition. What is nutrition? Well, actually the nutrition is the process of taking in nutrients into our body and utilizing these nutrients by our body to generate energy to grow and to develop and to repair our damaged cells. Before I proceed, I would like to clarify some of the important topics of the definition of nutrition. That is nutrition. What is nutrition? Well, so nutrition, as I told, this is the process of taking in nutrients and utilizing it by our body. Now, in this term, in this definition, one of the term nutrients is used. So, what are nutrients? Nutrients are basically some of the things such as carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and vitamins and minerals. These all together are called nutrients. Now, in this nutrients carbohydrate we get from the food that are sweet in taste. Proteins we get from pulses. Fats we get from the oily food. Vitamins we get from the vegetables, green vegetables, pulses, rice and all. And the minerals, there are different types of minerals such as iron, potassium, calcium, magnesium. These minerals are required by our body in very small quantity but are quite important for the development and proper growth of our body. So we cannot get these minerals directly from the nature, that is from the soil. We all of us know that these minerals are present or available in the soil, but we cannot use it directly because we cannot eat soil. So minerals, the requirement of minerals is fulfilled by our body in by food. Well, the food. What is food? Food is basically the things that we eat in our daily life. This is called food. All of us, in fact, all of the living things need food, and we need food to grow, to repair our damaged cells, to generate energy for our life processes, to proper growth and development of our body. So for these reasons, nutrients and food are very important for all the living things. Now, the way we get in our food, that is the mode of nutrition, is quite different in plants and animals and in different kinds of animals. We can say that there are two types of mode of nutrition. First is autotrophs. Basically, plants comes under this category. Plants prepare their own food by the process of photosynthesis. So they are called autotrophs. And the way plant get their nutrition is called the autotrophic mode of nutrition. The second method or the second process is heterotrophic mode of nutrition, in which the plant or animals are dependent on another or other plants of animal to gain their food, to obtain their food. Now let us discuss about autotrophs or autotrophic mode of nutrition and heterotrophic mode of nutrition one by one. First of all, we will discuss about autotrophic mode of nutrition or about the autotrophs. Here, how do plants make their foods? Say in plants, the food is prepared by the leaves, and leaves are called the food factory of the plants because in leaves of the plant there is green pigment called chlorophyll, which traps or gains the heat or heat energy from the sunlight and These chlorophyll or these plant leaves prepare the food for the plants in the presence of sunlight, carbon dioxide, water, and various other nutrients. Here I will explain you the process of photosynthesis in more detail. First of all, we need to know that all the parts or most of the parts of the plant are involved in the process of photosynthesis. Starting from the root, basically roots are under the soil. So roots actually absorbs or gains water and nutrients and other minerals from the soil, and it is transported to the leaves of the plant through the tubular structure that is called xylem and phloem from the roots to the leaves of the plant. Here in the leaves of the plant, at the back of the leaves, very small or tiny pores are there that are protected by guard cells. These small holes or small pores are called stomata. These stomata are responsible for the exchange of gases. Here, the leaves of plant gain or takes in or breathe in carbon dioxide gas and uses it for the process of photosynthesis, and after preparing the food the oxygen gas is released. Water reaches from the roots of the plant to the leaves of the plant by the process of transpiration and osmosis. During the transpiration, the water vapor gets loses from the leaves of the plant, and that is why there is lack of water in the leaves of the plant or in the aerial part of the plant. So the water is absorbed from the roots of the plant, but the absorption process is so slow that it cannot reach from the roots to the leaves. So here comes the role of the tubular structures that are present in plants that transport water from roots to the leaves of the plant. When there is shortage of water in the plant, the water enters into the plant by the process of osmosis, in which the water from the high concentration area uh, moves into the plant where the concentration of water is low. So in this way the water reaches from roots to the leaves of the plant, and their leaves utilize this water to prepare food by the process of photosynthesis. In our life, without the process of photosynthesis or without sun, no, it is not possible, because plants and animals are interdependent. When animal will not be there, the plants will not get carbon dioxide gas, which animals and we human being release when we breathe out. And plants use this carbon dioxide for the process of photosynthesis, in which they prepare their food, and in return they release oxygen gas into the atmosphere that we breathe in. So in this way plants and animals are interdependent for their survival, and life is not possible without the process of photosynthesis. In fact, any of the if not there, then life will not be possible. If plants will not be there, we will not get air to breathe or oxygen to breathe, so we will die. If we are not there, plants will not get carbon dioxide to prepare their food, and gradually they will also die. Here in your book or in your textbook, the figure of leaves, stomata, or the process of photosynthesis might be given. So go through or look at these figures properly or carefully and try to understand these things and their functions. Now, in the process of photosynthesis, the plants make their food, which they use for their growth and development and to carry out life processes. But when they prepare the food, some of the foods are excess, means the extra food is prepared. These extra foods are transformed or changed into fruits that we eat. When these fruits ripe up, we eat these fruits and we get a lot of minerals, vitamins, and nutrients from these fruits. Well, you might have seen decorative plants. Decorative plants are those plants which have uh, different or colorful leaves by which we decorate our house or we decorate our garden. Now, do these decorative plants prepare their food? Because their color is different, and the plants make their food with the help of chlorophyll, which are green in color, but these are not green in color, they are of different colors. So do these plants prepare their own food? Basically, to test this or to check this, we need to perform an activity that you had done in class 6 also. So here I am going to repeat the activity. For this, we take two of the potted plants, means two of the plants which is sown or which is there in the pot. We keep one of the potted plant in dark for 72 hours, and with the other potted plant, we perform an activity to test the starch and to test for the chlorophyll. For this activity, we first boil the leaf of the plant in water, and then after we dip it in a alcohol. We take alcohol in test tube and we dip the leaf of this plant in the alcohol. Here in alcohol, the chlorophyll gets dissolved, and then after we take out the leaf and put some iodine solution on this. So we will see that the area get darkish in color. The place. Okay, then after we repeat the same activity with the other plant that were kept in the dark area for 72 hours. When we repeat with the same activity, we will find that in that plant or in that leaf, the starch is not present or is not available. This means that plant can prepare their food in the presence of sunlight only, and when chlorophyll is there, then only they can prepare their food. But in some of the decorative plants, in between the colorful parts, some green pigments and some chlorophyll is there, and that part of leaf prepare their food. All of you might have seen algae which grows on the surface of water, that is uh, in river or pond, that are greenish in color. These algae are the smallest living things that can prepare their food. This was the first mode of nutrition, that is autotrophs. The another mode of nutrition, that is heterotrophs. In heterotroph mode of nutrition or in heterotrophic mode of nutrition, the plant or animal are dependent on other plants and animals for their food. Such as we can take the example of ours only. We are human beings, and some of the uh, creatures or some of the living things such as lice, which lives in our body, on our head, in the hairs that we call juu in Hindi, jue, and mosquitoes that suck our blood and get their food, bed bugs, that is known as khatmal, as you all know. So these are all dependent for their food on our body. So these creatures or these living things which are dependent on other things for their food requirement are called parasites, and we on which these parasites are dependent for their food, we are called host. So this mode of nutrition is called parasitic mode of nutrition, in which the one animal is dependent on the other animal for the food. We human beings are also maybe known as parasites because we are dependent on plants for our food, plants and animal also for the requirement of our food. We get our food from plants also, and we get our food from animal also. From plants we get food such as rice, wheat, pulses and all, and from animals we get food such as vegetables, fruits, sorry, meat, egg, butter, milk, and many other things. So we are heterotrophs. Apart from this, there is another kind of plant which is known as insectivorous. Basically, these insectivorous plants, such as pitcher plants, are green in color. They can prepare their food, but their all the requirement of nutrients are not fulfilled by the food prepared by them. So they actually trap insects in the pitcher plant. In the plants like pitcher plant, their leaves get converted into the form of a pitcher or in a jug like structure, and it is covered with a lid. The lid of this pitcher is always open, but as an insect enters into this pitcher, the lid encloses, and in this pitcher hair like structures are present which traps the insect, and then after digestive juices starts excreting or comes out from these leaves and pitcher, and this digest the insects, and by this they fulfill or they get the requirement of their nutrients. The another mode of nutrition which is saprophytes. In saprophytes, the one of the living being is dependent on the other for their requirement for the food. Basically, these saprophytes, such as you can take the example of fungus, they cannot prepare their own food. Basically, they are dependent on dead and decaying part of the plant and animal to obtain their food. Well, the way they get the nutrition is that you can be understood by an activity. To understand this, we take a piece of bread and we moist the bread with the water and we leave it for 2 to 3 days. After 2 to 3 days, we will observe that some pulpy patches have grown over the bread. These pulpy patches, if we try to observe with microscope, we will find that these are cotton like or the structure of threads of cotton. So these fungus secretes and enzymes which liquefy the bread, and from these liquefied breads they obtain their food and they fulfill their requirement. These are called saprophytes. uh, you might have seen fungus on food, leather, clothes, wood, anything, and these fungus may spoil our leather and clothes item also. There is another mode of nutrition which is known as symbiosis, in which two of the living things are dependent on each other for the requirement or for the fulfillment of their requirement of their food. You might have seen fungus grown on the roots of the trees or roots of the plants. Well, these fungus obtain the food and certain nutrients from the plants, and in return these fungus provide certain other nutrients to the plant, and these are dependent on each other for their requirement of food. Now, in the beginning of the chapter, I explained or I told you that we get the nutrients and minerals from the soil. So, when the nutrients and minerals are coming out from the soil, it has to come back to the soil also, then only we can get it again. So replenishment of nutrients in soil is very important. So there are various ways in which these nutrients are replenished in the soil. First of all, when farmers cultivate the field, they use fertilizers. There are certain fertilizers such as nitrogen fertilizer, potassium fertilizer, phosphorus fertilizers. So basically, when they cultivate the field, there is a certain requirement of nutrients or minerals by the crop plants such as wheat or rice. These nutrients are fulfilled by using fertilizers, and when fertilizers are used, the production of crop is better. Moreover, when plants and animals die, they decompose, their body decomposes, and all these nutrients and minerals get mixed into the soil, which is again or which are reused by the plants in the same way. We also need nitrogen, but nitrogen is present in our atmosphere in the gaseous state, and we cannot breathe in nitrogen. We cannot consume this nitrogen directly into our body. So, how do we get the nitrogen from? Or from where we get the nitrogen, from where we fulfill the requirement of the nitrogen that is required by our body? And where do plants get this nitrogen from? Well, basically for this, rhizobium bacteria are there, that is there in the roots of gram, peas, beans, or basically in the roots of some of the pulses. These are in the form of buds of the roots, and these rhizobium bacteria basically converts these nitrogen gas into liquefied form, that is in nitrates or nitric acid, and these nitrates are being then absorbed by plants by the process of osmosis with other nutrients and water, and then it reaches to the leaves of the plants and then to the roots or fruits of the plant. And then when we eat these plant product, or when we eat herbivorous animals, we get the uh, nitrogen that is required by our body. So in this way, the minerals replenished in the soil or replenished in the nature, and the life goes on. Here the chapter ends. Thank you and have a nice day to all of you.